This is The Litter Box, a Detroit Lions podcast with your hosts, Chet West and Bill Patterson.
Welcome to the Detroit Lions Litter Box. And wow is all I can say for our Honolulu Blue and Silver Warriors. Winners, 52-21 over the Chicago Bears. And Chet, I have to say that's as much fun as I've had on a Sunday afternoon in a long time.
It's as good as it gets. As good as it gets, Bill.
It really was. It was a riot. Jared Goff threw for 5 touchdowns. So right off the bat, he had a career day, and I believe he was only 0.02 away from having a perfect QBR. So not only did the Lions get the win, but Jared Goff was outstanding, as was the rest of the team. And with that, I'd like to ask you, we had 3 keys to the game. How did you and I do with our crystal ball on that?
So I think we did pretty good with this. We brought up the very first key of the game we brought up was Amon-Ra St. Brown versus who's going to cover the guy. And it didn't really matter. They all failed. He did an incredible job. We'll talk about our PFF grades here in a little bit, but he was top dog this past week. The second one, and probably an even bigger key to the game, would have been the interior O-line versus Chicago's interior D-line. So our interior, much maligned interior O-line from week 1 performed much better in week 2. On the run block side of things, they didn't blow it out of the water, but they still were about 20 beats higher than they were in week 1, which tells you how bad they were in week 1. In week 2, they were acceptable at least. In the pass block, everybody did quite well across the line for pass blocking. So that O-line pretty much dominated Chicago's D-line for most of the game. The only guy that gave him any real heart failure would have been Sweat, and he's going to do that to everybody because he's an elite pass rusher. So we had a good game on that key and won that one. And then the last one was Lions DC Kelvin Shepard versus the Bears head coach Ben Johnson. I'm not going to sit here and say that Shepard out game planned him. I just don't think Ben Johnson has the horses on that Bears offense to keep up with many. I don't think Caleb Williams is a top-tier signal caller. I think Roma Dunze is a pretty good wide receiver. He did a great job in that game, and he definitely made Terry and Arnold look a little silly once in a while. Outside of that, and DJ Reed for that matter, outside of that, I think that maybe they were just outmatched talent-wise, personally. But we'll give this to Kelvin Shepard. Did his job, had the defense ready, put the Bears in their place. So those 3 keys to the game, we won them all. And we go winning the game running away.
Benedict Johnson does not have the horses.
No.
Which is a clear indictment on Ryan Poles and just how lousy he's drafted. And here's the weird thing. When we talk about how many weapons he has at his disposal, Luther Bolden III was a second-round pick. He had 1 catch. They drafted, I believe, 10th overall, a guy named Colston Loveland from the University of Michigan as a tight end. He had 1 target, 0 catches. So the Bears are investing resources, but in high draft picks, in positions that should yield fruit if the lines, both O and D, are set. And the problem is the Bears went the route you don't want to go, which is free agency for both lines. And they're clearly overpaying a guy that we used to know well, Jonah Jackson, who I can't wait for your PFF grades.
He didn't score that bad. He didn't score that bad. I'll give you a little preamble. He didn't.
The right side of the Bears offensive line was abused all day and maligned, and he is part of that right side. So I'm a little surprised to hear that, which again, I don't totally trust these PFF grades.
They have flaws.
So let's dive into your PFF grades.
All right, here we go.
And let's talk about the Lions.
I'm going to give you the Lions' number 1 guy on the field, PFF-wise, 91.6 for Amon-Ra St. Brown. He was the top offensive performer. No surprise there, right? He had a 91.4 pass grade, so he did quite well. Jared Goff was number 2 at 85.1 on the offense. And right behind him was only 17 snaps Isaac Tesla with
Coleslaw.
a 76.4. And then you had J-Mo with a 74.8. Brock Wright checking in with a 74.6.
Thank you.
Played a good deal of snaps. His passing grade was an 89.3. His pass block, don't sleep on this. Tight end pass blocking was a 74.4. That's pretty decent. I like that a lot. His run blocking, not so great, 53.1. Penei Sewell was the top-rated lineman outside of Brock Wright being the tight end. He had a 74.2 overall. Pass block was a 66.8. We had a 75.7 for run blocking for him. So pretty good as far as our metrics go, because the next couple guys, if we talk about pass blocking, just pass blocking right now, Graham Glasgow was the second rated pass blocker on our line with a 77.2. Number one rated pass blocker on our line was Christian Mahogany with an 81.1. Taylor Decker, 76.1. The entire left side of the line did their job pass blocking. Granted, they didn't have to deal with Montez Sweat. Sweat rush is usually from the left side. Who had to deal with him? Well, Tate Ratledge had a 66.8 and Penei Sewell had a 66.8 in the pass block. So those two guys had to deal with Sweat over there, and their grade was a little bit lower, but still very respectable. Above the 60 line, which is just doing your job. So they were getting up there. Run block, we still got some grades around run block that are disappointing. Graham Glasgow, overall, Graham Glasgow and Tate Ratledge brought up the bottom. Ratledge was a 56.2, Glasgow a 56.7. They were the bottom two offense grades for regulars. They had a 52.7 and a 51.6 run block for each of them. I think we've identified probably where our weakness resides right now in this offense is the middle of the O-line and probably on that right side. With those those run block grades are not going to get you a whole lot.
Okay.
It worries me.
I have to disagree with you on this because here's the deal. They rushed 30 times for 177 yards yesterday. That's a 5.9 yard average.
Yep.
And you have to take out 3 of those runs because they were Craig Reynolds in garbage time for 4 yards for an average of 1.3. So you take that out, the 27 runs at 173 yards puts you over 6 yards a carry. They did their job.
Well, here's where my concern lies. If we play a team with a better interior D line, those guys go right back down into the 30s and 40s on run blocks and everything gets blown up. The Bears have a really bad interior D line. They're just not that good. So they did their job against a team that wasn't very good. Let's see what happens against the Ravens next week. I'll be real curious to see what happens there. We'll talk about that in a little bit. I'm going to go through a couple more and then wrap this up. Outside of those scores there that you get on the offense, the usual performers were all up there. We gave you that. On Chicago's offense, it was pretty bad. I mean, they had a really bad performance from Braxton Jones. He had a 46 overall. He's their left tackle. Okay.
He's awful.
His pass block was a 46.9. His run block was a 52.4. That is not going to win the day right there. Okay. So we got a couple of question marks there.
Can you go through the rest of their offensive line?
Yeah.
Just the starters.
Rest of the offensive line, we'll give you the rest of them here. Joe Thuney, left guard, graded in a 60.8. Theo Benedict and Darnell Wright, both graded in at 64.5 and 65.8. Theo Benedict's a backup.
Wright's the guy I wanted to highlight.
Okay.
Did you see the play where he leg whipped Hutchinson into the bad leg?
No,
it was so Bush League, and it's all anybody can talk about today is like even Bears fans are like, he is the worst. He got abused by Hutch all day, and he tried to leg whip him, which NFL guys don't go for that. Like, it's competitive, but you don't try
to win you. That's not going to win you the day.
You don't try to end another man's career.
So I'll talk about the other two. Your favorite, Jonah Jackson, right guard, 68.2 overall.
So he's
80.2 pass block and a 60 run block.
He's good on a bad. He's
good on a bad line, which That should tell you something. So maybe he's not as bad as we get. Maybe he's doing better, or maybe he just had a good day against us. You never know. I mean, this is just one game, right? So that's basically the line right there. Braxton Jones bringing up the rear. And then next to that is probably Drew Dahlman, the center, at a 58.9. He did fine. He's like a 60 across the board. What are we going to get? Like,
fans here are really harsh on him.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound like maybe that's just, but
I think Braxton Jones was the problem today. He caught heat and he couldn't handle it. And that's bottom line.
What was Tyreek Stevenson's grade?
Tyreek. Let's look at Tyreek here.
Because the Lions picked on him all day long. The key to the game is when the Bears shut down corner.
So he was bad. So I was going to get to the defense here in a minute.
Yeah.
And the highlights for defense are all on the Bears side. So you had three guys that played pretty much most of the game. Tyreek Stevenson, Nashawn Wright, and Kevin Byard. That's a strong safety and two corners. So Stevenson and Wright are the corners. Their overall grades. Stevenson was a 29.8. Nashawn Wright was a 29.4.
Oof.
And Kevin Byard was a 26.1.
Oof.
So those guys just got torched all day long, and their coverage grades were the reason for it. 37, 35, and 26. They were awful. Nick McLeod wasn't much better. He had a 41.8, the other corner, and a 35.4 for coverage. So they just don't cover the pass very well in that group. So they all got absolutely rolled. Jalen Johnson is their better of the corners. He only played 20 snaps. He had a 70.9. He had a 71.9 cover rate. And I still think in the plays he was in, he got beat every once in a while. So
he's out indefinitely too. He tore his groin. He had a groin injury going into it, and he's out indefinitely. So a 71 or 70 point whatever, given how hurt he was, isn't probably that bad. And he is their best player, which is not good for the Bears. Can I end the Bears really quick as we look forward to the Ravens? I'm going to summarize it like this. And I'm going to ask you the question, and this is the difference between these two franchises. They played at the same college 1 year apart. They play the same position. One was a second-round pick. The other was an undrafted free agent. Who would you rather have, Cole Kmet or Brock Wright? Because in my mind, they're the exact same player.
They are the same player. Kmet gets a little more play from the Bears just due to options. He seems to catch more balls.
But a second-round pick versus an undrafted free agent.
Sure. I see where you're going.
And Brock Wright took, when Cole Kmet was drafted by the Bears, Brock Wright took his job at Notre Dame. I just find the comparison just stunning when you think about the launch angle in where the two franchises are. So Ryan Poles needs to go. He is not drafting difference makers. The Bears also had 3 second or third round picks that were healthy scratches. I mean, that's never happened for the Lions. Healthy scratches. I mean, Levi Onwuzurike was unhealthy a lot, but that's totally different.
Yeah, it's so poor drafting. So I want to just shoot you a couple defensive grades for Detroit, then we can jump off. Okay. Yeah. Brian Branch, 91.4. Guy's a stud. Got the game ball we saw in the game video there.
They need to lock him up to an extension.
Yeah, I'm going to say that's probably true. Your buddy Hutch improved. He was in an 80.8 for his overall score. And Grant Stewart, in his 6 total plays, got an 84.6. I usually don't look at the guys that just get a couple of snaps, but I thought that was kind of funny.
Do you know he's the special teams captain for the Lions as well?
Oh, yeah. So Al-Qadim Muhammad played 36 snaps and got a 76.4 at that nose tackle position. I liked seeing that. That's some pressure up the gut.
Actually, I think he is going to take somebody's job.
Well, you know who I think? Well, Roy Lopez was our lowest rated regular defensive player at a 45.8. He's doing very little with that defensive tackle position, and probably why he was available in free agency, let's be honest.
He's a guy. He's a depth piece.
My bigger surprise was Terrion Arnold. Came in at a 48.6. Terrion just doesn't seem to be picking up pass coverage very well. He actually scores higher in run defense and tackling. In coverage, he's like a 46.1. This is 2 weeks in a row now that he hasn't performed that well. And another guy that really isn't turning in great grades is Alex Anzalone. 54.7, and on run defense, he's a 40.6.
He's not good. He's not long for it, and it's not good.
I think that's probably why we didn't give him the big deal that he was hoping for there. So let's jump off it. Everybody else did a good job.
Yeah, the one thing I was going to say,
medium or above.
The thing to look forward to, Lions fans, Davenport got hurt on 3 separate occasions. He didn't have an awful game, but I fully expect Muhammad to possibly push for his position at some point going forward. Last thing, let's talk about this week's opponent, Monday Night Football, which is awesome. It's just so fun having the Lions relevant in these. They were the game of the week against the Packers week 1, and now they're on Monday Night Football. The bad news is they have to face Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. And since Lamar Jackson has become a starter for the Baltimore Ravens, he is 24-2 against the NFC. And that is all I have to say about this.
Well, and he gives us fits. He gives the Lions absolute fits. And if you go back and look at a couple of the games so far, he grades out as one of the highest players on their offense. He and Zay Flowers might be a problem for us on Monday night.
Especially if Arnold can't step it up. So we'll have another pod for you all later this week to preview that in more depth, but that's just the overview and why I'm not feeling super strong about the Lions' chances.
I never feel good about the Ravens. I feel like they can always beat us. I don't know what it is, but it's just one of those teams. It's like them and the Commanders. We struggle.
I'm just happy it's on the
neck of the woods.
It's a road game, so it's not it's a road loss, not a home loss.
It is a road loss. It's a Monday night, which stinks because we're going to play some primetime TV. But let's see if we can pull it out. Let's see if our offense can be there.
If I had to give a game ball, though, to coaching staff, it's got to be Johnny Morton. The offense was clicking all the way around, and good for him to kind of, shove it in Benedict's face. So
he proved in a big game, that he can beat a beatable defense.
Yeah.
And he did. He crushed him. So that's great.
All right, Lions fans, please listen to our sister pod, the Detroit Tigers Litter Box. And that is all we have for you until we give you the Ravens preview. Great win. Enjoy it. Celebrate. And we'll talk to you all soon.